Hello, hello, and welcome to round 2, Brands Hatch Jam GP with the GT3 cars. We've had a bit of a Brands Hatch sort of week this week. We've had the GT4s running around as well as the touring cars. Great fun. And now it's the turn of the GT3s. We are on the GP track today. It's a 2.4 miles long. Turn of the IndyCar. It's first built in 1956 with the first ever British touring car race being held. Lap record for the GP is Nigel Mansell, 109 in the FW11 Honda 1986 F1 car. I don't think the GT3s are going to be quite on that par today, but we shall see. So all the boys coming out the pit now, a couple still there for the C4. Just in that nice little Lambo there for our Italian driver. Driving out of Trieste. Coming down Pilgrim's Drop. He has somebody in very close proximity, and if I remember right, that is Scotty behind him. It is indeed. It really helps when the boys stick with the livery. So a couple of people we're going to have a little look at this time round. We've got Gunslinger in here. I believe he has raced with us before. Disco into the pit in the AMG Merc. Sorry, I didn't realise you were there. I am. I do apologise for that, lad. We're having some technical difficulties, so it looks like we have someone on track. Let me just have a little bam through. It was Bammer, our American driver. Looks like he's going to be first up to set a lap. Looks very clean coming through Clark Curve up the Bram straight now. Still, tyres a little cold at the minute, but should be able to get a bit of heat into that. See what he's like round the Paddock Hill Bend. Very clean there. Coming up into Druids. From 4th into 2nd. Great line by him. At the minute, we'll jump over. Luke sets the provisional time at the minute with a 1:23.4. The right hand side of his tyres still with a little bit of heat to go in them. Luke gets very sideways coming through up into 30s now. Yep. Then Uber, our Dutch driver from Dreef, also one of the moderators here at Ruggins Racing. Good to have him out on track. AMG. Proving to be a little difficult on the curvy stuff, but at the minute Leo across the line there with a 1:23.3. So these boys very close to each other. I expect these times to really start coming down soon once the tyres and that start to work. Leo back into the pit. Luke, where's he coming through? He's just come through Westfield. Hornthorns very wide there. So back here, Richie. Level up there, our French driver. Puts himself up into 3rd, a 1:24.7. Good lap by him. Now looking back down the field, Scotty, a 1:26.3. Probably improved, sits inside the top 10 position at the minute. Good line through Westfield to the Dingle Belt. Always a tricky one. You put a wheel on the curve there, it likes to throw you off. What's he like through Sheens? A little wide there. He was on a lap there, but that's going to be scrubbed now. Jaskovia. Always goes well in the GT3 category. Currently nearly 3 seconds up on his Beth as he's coming into Sterling's. Great livery on the Lambo. He's lost the back end. He'll have to go again. Gunslinger into 10th at the minute. Disco P6 1:25. Currently on board with Gunslinger, who's 1.5 seconds up on his best at the minute, but still kind of on an outlap at this point in time. Fort yet to set a lap. Andy yet to set a lap. Deck Paint to set a lap. See how these boys go. We're down into 9 minutes of quali. while we have the eyes and ears of the people on track, I would just like to say a massive thanks to the Rubens Racing staff team behind the scenes. So much work goes into trying to make these leagues and these races as good as possible for the guys on track. I'd just like to say massive thanks to all the guys, they know who they are. Also a big shout out to Deck Paint last time out. He did a bit of commentary the first time, and it wasn't too bad, so it's always nice to have another commentator there. Yes, and Andy's Nana as well. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully Andy can actually put in a result for you, sweetheart, and get a win here for you. And if he doesn't, you can kick him out. Luke across the line, 123. Andy's still in the pit at the minute. Andy says he's dedicating this race to his Nana tonight, so we'll see how he does. See if he gets out the pit. It's nice to have you on board, and it's always nice to speak to Andy's Nana. Now, Luke, through Druids, good line by Luke. Into second. Low fuel on board. He looks like he's got good heat into the tyres now. Leo still sitting in P1 with a 123.3. Andy, Gunslinger, Disco, Giraffe and Leo into the pit, so maybe making some minor adjustment. Looks like Luke got a little out of sorts there, the back end. Banner, P3 at the minute with a 124 in that Lamborghini. Lamborghini should do well here. It's a naturally aspirated engine. I don't believe this is at altitude, so he should have the run of the green. He has someone up behind him, maybe cutting the draft there. That does sound like an AMG. That AMG went back to the pit, so let's have a little rundown now. Andy out of the pit. On board with Andy in the red and blue Ferrari 488. Just coming through 30s now. Looks like all four tyres absolutely freezing cold, so the lad will be putting a bit of heat into the tyres as he comes down Pilgrim's Drop. Always goes well in the GT3 class, does Andy. Last time out, won the feature race. It was great watching our mod, Marshall. Unlucky with losing Gunslinger for tonight. Gunslinger has to get off, so big shout out and respect for you to join in the lobby. Thank you, buddy. Hopefully that doesn't put too many people off there. All the lads now trying to space themselves out a little bit. Andy setting himself up, coming through Sterling's. Tricky corner. Up clear waves now. Merc in the background, revving its arse off. So into Clark Curve. Let's see how he tackles this one. Good line, little out of shape, catches the back end of it. Up the Bramham straight. Currently sitting in P12 at the minute. It's a great shot. Let's go on board. Into Paddock Bend. A little wide, manages to cut it back. Keeps all four tyres out as they're entering Druids. Down into second. Slightly less fuel than the guys on track. Oh, as he puts a wheel onto the curb, he'll lose a couple attempts there. Leo, what's he up to on track? He's coming round again up Bram Straight. Does he improve? Haven't got a lap time at the minute. He doesn't. On an out lap, so lads still putting a bit of heat into tyres. They've got 6 minutes to go. Currently, Jasco, P3 as Leo makes contact with somebody out of sorts in the Paddock Bend. Leo very much a victim there. Dauphinio now, P6. Dauphinio, our Czech driver from Olomouc. Likes the GT3 classes. Currently P6. Across the line. Oh, out. Some traffic coming out of the pit. Just be aware. That Merc needs to be more aware coming out of the pit. Fort now back into there as we juggle board with him. I believe that is Brooks. Coming through clearways into Clark Curve. Currently sitting in a top 10 position. P9 at the minute. Love the livery there. Not sure if that's the actual SLS Merc, that one. A slightly less horsepower than the actual AMG. Ubar behind him. Will maybe benefit from the draft a little bit. Across the line, both on outlaps. Andy there in the background. Andy into P5. Straight into the pits. Good lap by Andy last time out. A 2:24.5. His Nana will be smiling from ear to ear. Richie through Westfield, I believe. No, that was Hawthorne, sorry, my bad. Into Westfield now. Into third. I would like to shout out Richie. He's a seriously fast driver when it comes to the LMP1 class. Luke still 1/10 behind. Leo, Jasco still 1/10 behind. The field very close together. Thank you for joining the stream, guys. Much appreciated it. Last 4 minutes and we'll get into the sprint race here of the Rubens Racing Round 2 Brands Hatch GP. stick on board with Richie as he comes round the Bramham Straight, setting a lap. Tyre's still pretty cold at the minute, so I doubt he's be on a lap. He's going to set himself up now. We'll keep an eye on Richie. Go and have a look what deck paint's up to. Deck paint, a British driver from Hull in half of a Porsche 911, it looks like. Still, that won't slow him down. Into Surtees. Knocks it down into third pretty late there. I like to drop it down and get the front end kick it in, but great little sideways action coming through Surtees. It's probably not the fastest line, but boy does it look good. Back of the field, fourth now. Still trying to set a lap. Currently outside of a top 10 position. The guy will want to get himself up into a top 10 spot, but on the driver profile, he's just getting up to speed with these cars. As we can see, he's just on an outlap at the minute. Scotty in the red 488, great line there, coming up into Surtees. Let's just check his line through here. He's got Uber just in the distance there. Scotty into second. Gear ratios maybe a little different from the other cars around him, so something to keep an eye on. It currently looks like an outlap, a little down on his best. Disco through Surtees again. Disco currently half a second up at the minute. It will see him improve way up the field to P8 if he could just keep on top of this lap. Through Pilgrim's Drop, into Hawthorne Bend. Does he manage to keep all fours out? Just about. Really on the edge, into Westfield now. Down into third. Currently with 9.6 litres of fuel on board, so he's got a quite heavy fuel load than the other boys there. Through the Dingle Bell, into Sheens, one of my favourites. Dropped 3 tenths, so no, he's wide out again. He's going to lose that one. Scotty into Clark Curve, sitting in P11. He's definitely capable of a top 10 spot. Stick on board with him at the Bramham Straight, across the start finish. A 1:25.6. Still a second down on his best, so he'll wind up and he will go again. Uber behind also, 1:24.4. So these boys all so close to each other. Bit of a gap back from third to fourth, but it will ensure we have racing throughout the field. It's always a cracker when these boys get on track with the GT3s. It's good to see Jasko as he comes through the Pilgrim's Drop back in the GT3 class. Off the fuel there, off the accelerator as they come through Hawthorne Bend into Westfield. Currently sitting in P3, and as I know Jasko, our Bosnian driver, driving out of Vienna currently, he will want to try and improve. Currently 6 tenths down on his best at the minute, so a bit of a scrub lap, trying to put some heat into tyres. Back to Bammer now. Bammer into Druids. Sitting in P4, great little qualifying session from him. Maybe took a bit too much curb there, but each to their own. Back to Andy, currently a second and 2 tenths off the flat out best. He's coming through clearways now, up into Clark Curve. See if he can keep a tidy line through here. Sideways, does he lose it? He does. We have a yellow flag into Clark Curve. Yellow flag into Clark Curve. Richie setting up to go again. And a good job is our French driver. Shout out the fact that he is an actual champion of the league in the LMP2 class of cars. GT3, a little different from the LMP2s, but just goes to prove what sort of caliber driver is into. Fought into the pit, deck paint. Currently sitting in P13 with a minute to go, 6 seconds. It looks like he's on an outlap. Let's go on board with deck paint as he comes through what looks to be Paddock Bend. It is. 911 looking a bit sorry for itself at the minute, but deck paint looking to improve. Back up with our leader, Leo. Hell of a job by our Brazilian driver. Currently driving out of France at the minute. Last time out, qualified 4th, finished P7th. So he really, really wants to put a stamp on this race. Qualified pretty well last time, but ended up falling behind the pack, so see what he can do this time around. Currently sitting in P1, which is no mean feat, being in front of our pro esports driver from Birmingham, Luke Bennett. Luke, very capable of nicking P1 on the last lap. Carries so much speed coming through Surtees. Jasko, Bammer, Andy into the pit, so these boys putting their fuel on, getting the car set up. Through Westfield. Does he manage to keep the tyres within? No, he's out. He will get a slowdown for that one. Richie, P6 at the minute. Going through what looks to be up towards Sterling. Bruce, P6. Richie, P7. Dufinio. Bit of a shock by our Czech driver there. Is it? No, sorry. Yes, it is. Our Czech driver from Olomouc. Just within a top 10 position. Deck paint, in the dying breaths of this race, has managed to get himself up into a top 10 position. That pushes Disco out. Scotty in 4, just outside of there. It's so close between these guys. We've had a late joiner there. 6 people watching the stream at the minute. Would like to say a massive thank you to the boys. We're about to get ready for the sprint race of the night. A 20-minute sprint race around this beautiful Brands Hatch GP circuit. Arguably the home of the British Touring Car Racing Championships. That and the jewels in the crown, really, of the British tracks along with Silverstone. This track built in 1958. And we're watching Richie come across the line now. Does he improve? He doesn't improve. That's going to be our result. Let's get the screenshot in. Thank you for joining us on the YouTube channel. Leo, P1. Well done. That's a hell of an achievement to come across Luke Bennett there in P2. Jasco, VR, P3. Bammer, P4. Did himself some justice. Andy, who's driving for his mum tonight. P5. And we've just heard over TV radio that Andy's got a lot more speed in that car, so looking to improve in the race. We'll keep an eye on that. Bruce Law 6, Richie 7, Uber 8th, Dufinio 9th, Deck Paint rounding our top 10 off, Disco in 11th, Linsfoot in 12th, and Fort in P13. Thank you ever so much. That was qualifying done for our sprint race. Let's get on board with these boys now as they go and tackle this 20-minute race. We shall tire and monitor the front of the grid. We have a whole selection of cars there. We've got 2 Lambos, a Ferrari, no, so 3 Lambos in the background, a Merc, a couple of Mercs, there we go, Porsche in the background there too. So, Leo's going to lead this field away. This is a 20-minute sprint race with no mandatory pit stop this time around, so this is just a straight sprint race. The boys here at Ribbon Racing, some of the best drivers that are on this platform, so expect to see some good, clean, hard racing between all of the guys on track. Currently 1 minute to go. We'll blast off a little bit of facts here. This 2.4 mile long track the boys are going to try and tackle. Hopefully, with the calibre of drivers we've got tonight, there'll be very few stewards inquiries when we get to the Discord. I would like to tell everybody on the stream and everybody there to come and join the Ribbons Racing Discord channel. Totally free. Get involved in the leagues. There's currently 5 leagues at the minute. We have a Touring Car League, a Random Thursday Night Lights, we have a GT4 Ginetta League, we have a LMP1 League on a Saturday, and our staple GT3 League Sunday, which you are currently watching at the minute. So, P1 Leo, Luke sitting on the right hand side. If he gets a good getaway here, he will have the inside line for Paddock Hill and then into Druids, but we'll monitor that start, see what sort of jump they get. Luke, not renowned for his starts, if I'm honest with you, does bog down a lot. Jasco looking to pounce in the background with Bammer, our American driver there. Big shout out to him with the time zone difference for making the effort and joining us. Good to see. We are real close to getting going here. We've got a 20-second warning for the drivers that are currently putting fuel in. Lap record here, Nigel Mansell, 109. Don't think the GT3 exists. Here we go. Leo P1. Can he get away? Keep that position. We shall see. It looks like Bammer behind has managed to get a good start. Luke did bog down off the line. Jasco is through P2, but Luke's going to hold it straight round. Luke actually gets going again. So Luke P1, Jasco. Bruce in the background there with Dufinio and Andy right next to him as the camera does catch up. All the boys into Dewey's now, side by side. The boys give each other room. This is the respect that we want to see from our Ribbons Racing races. Luke coming away with it. We've got Bammer and what looks like Andy side by side. Andy into P4. It looks like in the background there, Uber is having a go. Andy goes a little defensive there. Into Surtees. Lad's doing a cracking job. Luke, Jasco, Leo from P1 into P3. Let's have a quick look back at what Bruce Bammer are doing there. Side by side through the Pilgrim's Drop. Something's got to give. I think Uber and that is side by side there too. Who is that? Is that Disco? It's not. I think. Oh, it looks like Bammer got a little tap there. The boys and Deck Paint all side was in the background. Back up with Validas. Andy P3, but does go very wide there. It's going to have to give. Make it a slow down. Disco on the back end of Bruce. Jasco down into P6. He was really up the front of the grid, so maybe a mistake from the boys back there. It looks like Scotty's very wide there, so Deck Paint through, Uber through. Back up with our leaders. What's happening with Luke, who's managed to pull a 1.5 second gap as he comes out of Clark Curve. Good line up the Bramham Straight. Dropping Leo a little bit. Andy P3, Bruce P4, Disco P5, Jasko P6, Deckpain up to P7, Uber 8th, Richie 9th, 4th, 10th, Dafinio 11th, and Bammer 13th with Scotty at the back of the field now. Andy, what's he up to? Coming through Druids. Very tidy by the boys there. Jasko chasing down Disco Stu. Uber also on the back end of these. Hopefully the boys are all keeping it very clean behind as Bammer gets it wrong again. Dafinio up into that position now. Through 30s, the boys all relatively clean now. Jasko wants to get going again. Deckpain a little wide through that line. What's Rich up to? He's very close. Dafinio now. Looks like he's been hassled. 4 with Dafinio very close to the back of him. I'm back on board with the leaders. Luke, nearly a 2-second gap now to Leo. But Luke is known to make a mistake or two every now and again, so don't count this out. Watch Jasko as he's pulling onto the back of Disco. A little bit of a gap, maybe the concertina effect. Richie now, very close to Uber. Let's have an on board as they come through Sterling's. On board with Richie in the draft of Uber now, coming up into Clark Curve. Great corner. Down into third, swings it back around. Looks like it's as you were for the time being. Andy looks like he's forever closer in the back of Leo. Bit of a concertina effect again. Back to the boys fight in 4. Bammer, Deckpain, Dafinio, all in post-crop proximity to each other. Dafinio currently leading this pack of cards around at the minute. Oh, as Fort gets a kick up the arse from Bammer, that will not be very happy for the driver there, our talented driver, getting the worst of that one. Back on board with Richard now. I imagine that was just catching out with the brakes. The boys all getting up to temperature and speed. I don't think there was any malice involved with that manoeuvre there, but Fort really suffering because of the move there. What's happening with Scotty at the back? He's moving on to the back of Fort. Fort may lose another place yet. Bammer looks like he's pretty close onto Dafinio. As I say that, Dafinio's pulled out a little gap. Richie trying to chase Uber down, coming up into Pilgrim's Drop. Bit of a gap between them. Where's Bammer? On his own at the minute. Oh, we've got an accident in the background. Deckpin and the Fort sideways. What's up? What's happening with Andy? Let's go on board with him as they come through what looks to be Sterling's. It is. 488 usually goes pretty well at the start of the race, and then the tyres tend to go away from them as the race goes on. We will keep on top of it. Great line by Andy coming through Clark Curve there. What's Richie up to? Bit closer now onto the back of Uber. Our Dutch driver from Dreef not having his own way tonight, being hassled. Deckpain disconnected. One of the commentators here last time around disconnected from the race, so we're down to 12 at the minute across the line. Still as you were. Andy very close to Leo now. Let's have a look what Andy's looking like. Andy looking on the inside of him as they come through Druids, just trying to get a reaction out of Leo in front, seeing if he can get Leo to brake a little deeper and a little later. Doesn't seem to work. The Brazilian driver, bags of experience. Uber. It doesn't half look like Richie's got through there. Uber still on the back end of him though. Bammer still trying to hunt down Dafinio. Currently Andy in the draft of Leo, losing a bit of downforce, how it looks like, as they navigate Hawthorne Bend into Westfield. Andy does look like he's got the pace at the minute, but Luke on an absolute tear. 3.5 seconds to Leo behind. I think in essence these guys, once they start battling, Andy and Leo, they will slow one another up, as Uber still managed to keep within Richie, with relatively close between them boys there. Fushines, I love that corner. Great one. Jasko just in front of these boys now. The field's starting to spread a little bit. All the boys doing a good job coming through clearways. Jump on back on board with Andy, chasing down Leo into the Paddock Bend. Tricky one to get right. I like to take a bit of curb on the inside, helps the front end drag it round. That gap remaining much the same. Richie really caught up with the back end to Jasko. Jasko, one of the usual top drivers in the GT3 class, takes a little bit of a wider line through the Paddock Bend there, maybe caught Richie out a little bit. So Richie just having a look at Jasko, seeing what sort of lines the guy takes. Jasko very fast in this GT3 class. Looks like Andy and Leo pretty close to one another. To say that, it looks like that Lambo has some legs. Once it gets onto the straights, it is gone. Dafinio Czech driver from Olomouc pulling up on Uber, our Dutch driver from Dries. That'll be an interesting battle for the battle of the marshals and mods there. Great to see them on track fighting. We've got reports from the pit lane that Scotty Linsfoot, P11, is having major problems with the car, so maybe a setup wrong with the pit crew there, getting it wrong. Hopefully they'll get it sorted for our feature race tonight, so Scotty really struggling to keep that car in check at the minute. Looks like Andy's a little closer, there's still a second in it between the boys there though. We're still on board with Richie chasing down Jasko. Look at this train of cars. Jasko, Richie, Uber, Definio, all very close to each other. Then Fort is pulled right up onto the back of the struggling Scotty, and I just say that Fort got very wide. Definio still trying to chase down Uber. Feathers that throttle coming round Clark Curve. It's great sounding car once the boys get it right. Andy looks like he's still within a second now of Leo. The boys still very close. If anything, I think Leo's managed to pull that gap down for Luke by about 2 tenths, but Luke, our Pro Esports driver from Birmingham, very experienced, he'll know he's at the front of that grid, he can control the pace, he doesn't have to push lap after lap after lap, but the natural born racer in Luke usually sees him make a mistake because the lad's setting qualifying lap every single time as Richie has a real look at Jasko coming into Sheens now. Let's go on board with him in the Merc. Through Sheens. He's going to get in the draft. Look at that Lambo, did the acceleration. Gone. Not going to have a go of him into Hawthorne Bend. Not a chance. What about in the background there? Uber looks very, very close to Definio. Coming up into Hawthorne Bend. I thought he was having a look at him there. Oh, and he did. He hassled. He was trying for that. Uber, great driving. Definio back on the track. Great, good of the Definio just to stay out there and not join straight away. Ooh, looks like Uber's run himself wide. He has, so that's going to allow Definio through. Rich gets so close to the back of Jasko. He hits the back end of him there, and he's got it all to do again. These boys so close to each other. So Richie will wind up and go again through the back of Jasko, but Jasko a little bit of breathing room. Definio very close to the back of Richie now. Maybe having to go into the Paddock bend. Nope, that AMG a little too quick for him. Oh, see the AMG. No grip there as he turned in. Definio doing a good job hassling the back end of it. Looks like it might be the only a matter of time. Second in it with Andy and Leo still. Hopefully Andy no slow down there. That's got a bit closer, hasn't it? It has indeed. So these boys still very close to each other. Jasko probably reeling a little bit now with a bit of breathing room. Definio, Richard all close together. What's Fort up to in the background? Has he managed to catch Scotty up a little bit? Scotty obviously having problems with his car, so these boys, even though they're at towards the back end of the field, will have a little bit of fighting between themselves. So as we're on board with Andy, you can see what a second gap looks like as they come through Sheens. Currently, it looks like Andy a little down in his best at the minute, 4 tenths down, so he's struggling in the back end of that dirty air. So it'd be interesting to see if Andy can get himself up there, what sort of lap times the lad can set. But at the minute, not close enough to have a go. Bammer, side by side with Richie. Boys keep it very clean. Hell of a race, Richie. Maybe a little wide, but manages to bring it back. So Uber next up on the list there. Good move by Bammer. Good to see. Definio now chasing down Jasko, both in Lamborghinis, so purely down to driver talent and how much they dare to push it. Andy a little closer to Leo now, so maybe Leo's struggling with a bit of grip, who knows. Last half of this race to go. Nope, Andy goes wide. We've got a yellow flag coming out of Druids. Yellow flag coming out of Druids. Where is Bruce? Bruce is through. Where's Disco? Is Disco going to make that move too? Looks like Andy's managed to get it going again. So Andy missing a podium spot there. He's not going to like that. Qualified 5th, up into 3rd, chasing down Leo. Lost the back end of the car coming through Druids. Definio very close. Even closer now to the back of Jasko. Only a second in it between the boys there. It looks like Uber still following Richie about. What's Fort up to? Fort within 2 seconds of Scotty now. Scotty, obviously, we heard from the mechanics that he had a bit of a setup nightmare as they went out there, and the lad didn't find it out until he got to the first bit of Paddock Hill Bend. So Scotty in P11 nursing a limp car around. You could just about see Bammer in the background there while we're on board with Definio. Definio, a little squiggly coming through the Dingle Bell. Currently though, Definio nearly half a second up on his best, so we will go on board with them as they come through Sterling's. see if Dafinio can make a move. It looks like Disco has really pulled up on the back of Andy. We will check the battle out behind too. That's pretty close. Back on board with Disco. Into Paddock Bend. Andy, very wide, struggling with grip. Well, that's going to allow Disco to go up the inside of him to Druids. Andy struggled here last time into Druids. Let's see if he can get a better line coming out of here. Side by side, the boys still round into Druids, but it looks like Disco's got the move done. Pulls a little over on the line. Luke maintaining a 3-second gap at the front. Dafinio and Jasko are going to give us a show tonight, definitely. Currently 2 seconds behind Scotty there. Looks like Andy's a little better line through Surtees there. We'll see what sort of pace the 488 has over the Merc in front. The Merc is expected to be a little bit faster, but the Ferrari should have the advantage when it comes to the bends. Dafinio very close. Dafinio side by side with Jasko. Not sure what happened. It looks like Jasko may have got a slowdown there. Dafinio through. Little flash of the headlights. That's going to release Dafinio to go chase after Andy now. Andy and Disco having a hell of a battle. Looks like that 488 of Andy struggles a tiny bit in the dirty air. Into Sterling's. It's not going to be a battle on there into Clark, so let's go and have a look at what Fort's up to. Coming up into Surtees now. It looks like the back end of that Lambo's are very trigger happy. Uber and Richie. Richie, one of the pro LMP1 drivers there. If you turn on the leaderboards with the LMP1, he has got most of the times there. Top times in the LMP1 class, but this isn't LMP1 and he is within it. Well, he is in a top 10 position. Let's hope he can actually keep that position with 6 minutes to go. Thank you again for everybody joining us on the YouTube channel. We'll say now to join the Discord. Come and join Rubbins Racing. Great bunch of races out there. Great leagues that have been run throughout the week. Everybody is more than welcome to join. Looks like Fort's a little closer to Scotty now. Again, Scotty struggling with the setup of the car now. It might have a go at him. It actually into Clark Curve here, but he's very close. Scotty pushing out wide. Uber on Richie. Where's Andy? What is he up to now? He's got onto the back of Disco, which is no mean feat, especially in the dirty air. Good line through Hawthorne. Into Westfield now, the Dingle Belt. Tricky one this, off camber. Drops on you a little bit. The car goes light, but the boys keeping it in check. Through Sheens, both very clean through there, so Disco and Andy really have a battle on there. Andy maybe kicking himself a little bit for the exit out of Druids, but back on the pace again, these boys. Coming up into Clark Curve. Andy, always a little sideways coming around here. Thank you for the comments, boys. Thank you for joining us. This race, absolutely fantastic. Fort very close to the back of Scotty as they come through Surtees. Now, on board with our leader, who has had a bit of a lonely one. He's not got too much run time. Currently, nearly 6 seconds on Leo at the minute, so Luke in a comfortable, commanding position in P1. As I say, he could probably manage the race a little bit, and he looks like he is, currently 3 tenths down, you know, just taking his time. He's got plenty of room, plenty of placing. As I say that, Andy, all over the back of Disco, coming up into Surtees. It does look like Andy, if he gets a good run out of Surtees, might have a go at Disco coming up into the Hawthorne. He has. Looks like he was, and there goes the AMG. Andy well in the draft though. Let's have a look at the speedo as they come up into Hawthorns. Andy 150, 151. Not close enough to have a go though. Bama and Uber, they're going to be fighting very, very shortly. Fort still trying to find a way around Scotty. Scotty with a limping car though, still hanging it out there for all to see. So good to see these two boys still battling out, still with a big smile on their face, even at the back of the, even at the back there. Through Sheens is Andy. He looks a lot faster out of there. A lot faster out there. Will he have a go up into Clark Curve? He's showing him the inside. Disco doesn't react though. But Andy making a mental note of that. If he does try and swing it up the inside, it doesn't look like Disco's going to defend it. These boys so close to each other up the Bramham Straight. And all this has done, really, is allowed Dafinio in the background, our Czech driver, to try and catch up. Will Andy have a little nibble at him into Druids? Remember, this is Andy's, one of his least favourite corners, but it looks of it. Does he get the exit right? He does. Oh, he doesn't. He's sideways again as I say that. So Dafinio's going to be released. Andy, back around again. Hopefully, Jasko, yep, too far off Andy to make any impact there, coming back on track. So Andy really struggling with the back end in Druids. Bammer, really close on the back of Ubar now. The Lambo going well, especially through this bit of track. Thank you for the comments, boys. I really appreciate it. The lad's giving some fantastic racing. Looks like Fort's still trying to find a way around him. Back on board with our race leader. Into Sheens. Oh, Sterling, sorry about that. Up to the clearways. Let's see what sort of speed he gets up to as he comes into the Clark curve. 120, 130. Around 130, knocking it back into third. Leo, with a bit of breathing space, he's got a 7-second gap to Bruce behind. So we go on board with Bruce. See up to in that SLS AMG. Doesn't sound like there's another Merc in the background, and it is. So Disco and Daphnia not too far behind here with 2.5 minutes to go. It'd be interesting to see if Disco and Daphnia can pull themselves up and try and battle Bruce into third position. You can physically see the gap, there it is. And all the while, Andy in the background is catching him up too. Last time around, Luke with a 124. Class the field, really. Daphnia, 124 too. In fact, Daphnia, fastest man out on the track at the minute. Or at least last time around he was. Oh, and look at this. Daphnia and Disco. Looks like Daphnia's got back to pace in that Lambo. Oh, he's going to have a go. He's definitely going to have a go. Does he go defensive? He's up the inside of him. Sorry about the camera angle. Great move into Sterling's. What would the Merc do? Runs very wide. He's going to have to... That's going to be that one. Maybe they're going to let Andy catch up a tiny bit. Bammer into the wall. Fort and Scotty inseparable. But Fort and Scotty have the race leader coming up on them. As soon as these boys get blue flagged, they need to move way out the way for our race leader. Even though these boys are racing very hard between them, so they will have to respect the blue flags. They will have to keep position while the race leader comes past. Luke giving him a flash of the headlight. Looks like Fort well out the way. He is indeed. Hopefully Scotty will do more or less the same thing. So Luke, good line there through the Paddock bend. Come on, camera, catch up. We're on board with Luke. On board, he's through, he is on track, so next up for him would be Bammer. Andy looks like he's coming up on our timing stream a little bit. There we go, chasing down Disco in fifth. Of course, Andy in a podium spot for the first half of this race. 1 minute to go. Let's have a look at our race leader with a minute to go. About to see on track, coming through Sheens there. Always a deep line for him right there. 130 as he comes through the Pilgrim Drop. Great bit of track this. Hawthorne Bend now. Let's go on board with our Pro Esports driver. You can see Fort and Scotty in the background there, but I do want to stay on board with Luke. At least while we're on a minute to go. Commanding lead at the minute over Leo. 8 seconds. Flat out through the Dingle Bell into Sheens. Great corner. As I thought, it is Luke managing the race. Full second down on what he can actually do, but maybe something to do with the tyres. But I imagine he's managing the race pretty well. It looks like Andy's and Disco, yeah, the concertina effect there. So Luke, with 20 seconds to go, he's going to come up the Brammer Straight. There is going to be another lap in this race by the looks of it. Yep, so 14 laps. So we will do 15 laps of this race. So Luke across the line for the last time on our sprint race. Of course, stay with us, everyone on YouTube. We will be going for the feature race, which will be double the distance with a pit stop in. It will also be reverse grid, so all these fast lads at the front, Luke, Leo, Bruce, Daphnia, Disco, Andy, Jasco, will all be all towards the back, so they'll have plenty to do. Andy's still trying to catch up with the back end of Disco. Disco doing a good job once he got in there. Fort hassling Scotty. These two having a real little fight between themselves, but it does look like, who is that behind them? We have a yellow Lambo. I'm not quite sure who that is. Hang on a second. It is, it's Leo. So Scotty and Fort have second place coming up on. They're going to have to move out of the way. Fort gets way out of the way. Good driving by Fort. See Scotty up on track next time round, but where's Luke? Looks like he just come through Westfield. He did. Into the Dingle Bell for the last time tonight. Let's see what sort of line he does through Sheens. Good driving by our Pro Esports man from Birmingham. Into Sterling's. See if he can keep it on track. He doesn't obviously want to make a mistake in the last couple of corners here. Through Clark Curve now. Down into third. Quite a bit of fuel left for the end of this one. Through Clark Curve. Good line up the Bram Straight. Our man from Birmingham, Luke Bennett, takes P1 in the sprint race, the first race of the night. Good driving, Luke. Leo now, P2. Now Leo, very experienced when it comes to this sort of thing with the Ribbon Racing crew. P2, go on lad, well done. Hell of a drive there by our Brazilian driver. Bruce with a Brucey bonus in 3rd place. Nice. Dofino across the line, 4th place, he's going to be happy with that. Disco across the line, does manage to keep it through in front of Andy at the minute, so Andy's Nana's going to have to settle for 6. Jasko, what could you say, I wasn't expecting him this far down the order. 7th place, across the line, our Bosnian driver. Richie, the pro LMP1 guy, P8, good driving. Ubar now, Dutch driver from Dreef, navigating the last bit of Clark curve, good line. Across the line, inside of the top 10 position. We know the guy can do better, but he's got to be relatively happy with that performance. Bama was going to take home the last top 10 spot tonight, our American driver. Good racing by the boys. Fantastic to watch these lads go around. Always a pleasure. Plenty to do. Oh, and as I've come across there, look at that. It looks like Disco and Dofino both had penalties, which jumps Andy up into P4 again. So Andy in the end, running around in P3, up into P4 with Disco and Dofino with penalties. So Luke Bennett, P1, Leo, P2, Bruce, P3. Nice driving by the boys. Andy with a bit of a recovery drive. It'd be interesting to see how Jasko gets on in the next one. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll get our feature race underway. Just take some screenshots of that. Back to the lobby. This place. Here we go. We are live here. Coming up, the start finish. It looks like Scotty's gone. He has indeed. He's gone. He's put his foot down. So the guy gets a jump on the field in the background. Fort and Bama very side by side. Ubar being hassled a little bit there as well by Rich. Looks like Dofino and Jasko in the background. Very good. Andy through into P8 again. Oh, in the background, Andy's got very wide. He's gone wide at Paddock Hill. He's going to have it all to do again. Maybe an early pit stop. Back up to the leaderboard. Ubar bullied out a little bit by Richie. Gets it all wrong on the brakes there. Somebody is sideways. It looks like Disco may have got it wrong a little bit. So, Disco, Jasko, all very close. We're just having reports there that... Where is Luke on field? I think he's P12, so past Fort now, bringing his way up through Max, who's in that brightly coloured Renault. A little way off, so there's not going to be much of a battle there. Looks like Dasco's very close to Dofino, with Disco following. It's very much as you were through that section of track. Max has Luke all over the arse end of him. Luke into the draft, coming up into the Pilgrim's Drop. Down the side, it looks like Max has seen him, he has the laser steering, good driving. Richard has a train of cars through. Ubar, Jasko. Jasko then with a bit of a gap. Dofino and Disco very close to one another. Looks like Disco may have swapped over. He's in the M6 at the minute. Dofino, our Czech driver from Olomouc, loves the GT3 classes. Looks like he may have a go at this M6 into here. Let's on board with him. Into Clark Curve, just showing him the inside there was our Czech driver, trying to get a reaction out of him. Richard, Ubar, Jasko, very close to each other. Then Andy, looks like he's just catching up onto the back end of Dofino. Good to see our man there, Andy, our British driver from Watford, having a getting back on track and going again. So Luke, P10, currently a couple of seconds through Leo. Let's have a look back at the track there. Not much in it. Looks like Jasko's catching up with Ubar. Good line by the boys all through there. Dofino, Leo, Luke. Where is Luke on track? He's a little way off here, so Luke with a bit of work to do. Back on board with Rich as they come through Surtees. Good line by the boys there. Dofino still hassling the back end of that M6. Looks like he may have a go here. Back on board with Dofino. It looks like Disco's gone defensive. We'll go trackside. 2 do not go around Hawthorne Bend. Let's have a look. On board with him. Dofino around the outside. Wow, but he has gone wide. He's off the track. He's off. He takes Disco with him. That was a total racing incident. Hopefully, Leo, Andy, the likes of those boys can get going again. Dofino losing that. Rich now with Ubar and Jasko. Jasko up to P4. Nice move through Sterling's there. Jasko on a tear at the minute. Looks like Disco's got going again. Really a victim of the battle in there. The boys side by side not wanting to give a room. Now Luke, the man from Birmingham. Last time out. Always at the sharp end of the grid. Luke hassling that M6. He's going to have a go into Paddock Hill Bender to see each other. Last time round, Disco was battling out there and through no fault of his own, got collected Fort looks like he's catching up on the back end of these guys now. Leo, thank you for joining. Currently 16 people with 17 comments. Really good going. Jasko, a lot better showing this time out in that Lamborghini GT3 Huracan. Very close. What's Leo up to? Bit of a concertina effect. Andy in front of him, no mean feat. Luke P8. We've got him up on the timing board there that this goes close to Luke. He managed to pull a bit of a gap there. So what's Rich up to? Rich is very close to the back of Bama. Bama may be a little slow through that section of track. So Bama struggling through Hawthorne Bend into Westfield. He goes wide and gets the car kicks on him. Brings it back on track, but Jas goes through as well. Good driving by Bama not to rejoin instantly and take the boys out. Andy will be next up on Uber. Good line through there by Andy. Obviously, Andy struggling last time out with a bit of grip, so hopefully he can keep it pointing in the right direction. Looks like Jas goes very quick at the minute. Maybe he had a word with his mechanics last time out in that sprint race and told them to put a bit of grip in the buddy car. Oh, as we see Richard goes sideways there, but catches it. Good driving by Richard, our pro LMP1 driver. What's Andy up to? He's got definitely U-Bar in his sights. Leo behind them too, so these boys cannot afford to put a step wrong because they are going to lose mountains of spot. And all the while, P8, Luke Bennett, slowly catching up to the back end of these cars. I would like to jump straight back to Scotty, who got an amazing start there coming through, where is he? Coming up on Sterling's now, and currently has a 3 to 4 second gap on Rich and Jasko. So Rich and Jasko look like they're about to really get some racing done here, may even slow each other down. So our Welsh driver from Swansea in P1 here, 5 laps down, a lot of racing to go, but Scotty, our Welsh driver, doing a hell of a job. Great start by him as well. Hang on a second, he's dropping down the field. He must have a slowdown. Will Jasko get caught out by him too? Got to slow down there, Scotty. Having a bit of issues. Jasko gives a look on the inside into Westfield, thinks better of it. Good driving by our Bosnian-based driver there. Driving out of Vienna. He's very wise head on his shoulders. He could have made a move there, but thought better of it. Andy with Leo all over the arse end of him now, coming up into Sterling's. It looks like Scotty's having another go into Jasko, showed him the inside. Good driving by these boys. Will he have a go? Let's go on board with our Welsh dude there. No, Lambo just with a bit of legs on him. Onto the brakes. Yeah, Jasko's got the position done. Jasko, Pete. Oh, it's an Uber side by side. He's going to have to get muscled. Luke needs to watch himself here. He doesn't want to get collected as he's trying to come up to the field. Uber, maybe a little bit aggressive there. Looks like Luke was going to come through and Uber cut him off. Andy, side by side with Scotty. Scotty, our Welsh driver from Swansea, dropping back down the field. Next up for that, Leo. Come on, camera. Good move there. Leo up the inside. Looks like Scotty just allowing that Lambo to go wide. What about Uber? Does he get a tap from the back? He does, though. Luke, is he going to have a go on him into the brakes? Luke gets it done. Uber, all sorts of sideways. Hopefully, our Dutch driver from Dreef can get it back going again. Uber back on track. Gives Bruce a bit of a nudge for his worries there. Uber needs to be a little more careful when he's rejoining the track. Richie and Jasko at the front, with Bama in close proximity. Then 3 seconds back from them is Andy, Leo, Luke, all in very close proximity to each other. Luke, of course, a pro esports driver, so always going to do well in there. GT3, not his preferred class at all. He is a very experienced Ginetta driver, GT4, GT5, very fast. Jasko VR has span out. He's going to have to be very careful about rejoining, and it looks like Bruce has been done again with to take out there. Jasko hopefully can get going again, but Jasko very commanding. Has he got going? No. Uber, Jasko, we've got yellow flags through the Dingle Bell. Yellow flags through the Dingle Bell. It looks like Jasko resets again. Some driving going on. Luke hassling the back end of Leo now. Though this will be interesting. We'll go on board with our pro esports man. Currently at the side, a bad camera angle. Leo goes defensive, which he's fully entitled to do. Luke tries to do the cutback. He's going to move across right here into Dewey's. Onto the brakes. As much as you dare, Luke does show him the inside, and very good driving by Leo to give him the room just in case he was going to make that move. But Leo hugging the inside here. Doesn't look like Luke's going to be able to get it done without going too wide here. Oh, and I say that, what a drive he gets off that corner there into Surtees. Leo thinks better of it, tucks up behind. Scotty also within pretty close range of them all. Andy, P3. Well, he has a very experienced guy behind him at the minute who's on a charge. Scotty still hanging on to the back of these guys. They're hoping the mechanics had sorted the car out during the sprint race, which was a bit of a nightmare for the Welsh driver from Swansea. But doing a good job hanging on to the back of him at the minute. And we've just had reports it's a completely different car. Obviously, theoretically, setup-wise, not physical. Luke has dropped Leo a little bit, definitely. So next up for Luke is Andy, our British driver from Watford. Last time out, Andy won the GT4 Future Race. Is looking for a top 3 finish tonight for the driver profile. Looks like Scotty still hanging on to the back of these boys a bit. So Luke doing a good job. Back up over the leader here, Richie. Seems to have pulled a little bit of a gap to Bammer as our American driver, sitting in P2 at the minute. Nearly 2-second gap. Luke and Andy very close to each other as well. Maybe the Constantina effect there. Scotty still hanging on to the back. Jasko back on a charge now. He's going to have the bit between his teeth as he comes through the Clark curve. The guy is fully capable of running at the front of the field. Just having a bit of a nightmare at the minute. Luke with putting a wheel onto the old curb there. Very dangerous way of living, that one. Scotty still following him around. Jasko seems to be Constantina effect again, so I do apologise. We'll run down the order of our field. Richie, P1, our pro LMP1 driver. Bammer, a little closer behind him. It was nearly 2 seconds. It's down to a second and a half. So this Roos, no way. Oh, as we say that, Andy P5, Leo back in front of him. Looks like Andy may have had a moment there. But Andy back on the pace again. Andy obviously struggling from about lap 12 onwards with the back end of that car. So see what he's like, and he loses it again. We've got a yellow flag in the dingle bell. Yellow flag in the dingle bell. Scotty just about gets round. Andy going again. So our man from Watford having a hell of a time here. On board with Jasko. Maybe have to go on the roof cam for that one. There's Ubar in front of him. Ubar, our Dutch driver from Droof, doing a good job at the minute. The AMG always seems to struggle on twisty tracks. Looks like Scotty's pulling up on the back of Andy, so Andy is really struggling. It's Ferrari versus Ferrari. It is pure setup at the minute and driver skill between these boys, fighting over 5th position. Jasko even closer to Ubar again. On board into Clark Curve. See what sort of drive that our Bosnian driver gets out of this one. Ubar very fast out of Clark Curve, so he's going to struggle to make a move as they come up into Paddock Hill Bend. I know for a fact that won't be done there unless Ubar does make a mistake. Bammer, looks like. Oh, what was it there? He's on a good lap, but may have gone a little bit wide there. Luke pulled within a second of the guy. Scotty and Andy very close to each other on the track. Only a second in it between them two. It's in tunes. Scotty, Bruce in the background there. That M6, I think. Let's have a quick look. Nope, he's not. He's in the AMG. Yeah, he's on the SLS, actually, it looks like. No, he's the AMG. So, Jasko with a hell of a run out of that corner there. Side by side with Ubar coming up through Surtees. Coming into Pilgrim's Drop now. Now, who's got the bigger balls here? Jasko onto the grass a little bit. It's going to lose a bit of momentum. Jasko round the outside. Wow, that was seriously a case of on the brakes. Jasko, one of the last of the late breakers as Luke pulls up onto the back of our Pro Esports man. It looks someone into the pit. That's Richie into the pit. It's the first one to blink tonight. Lap 10, Richie into the pit. So Luke released into P2 to chase down Bammer for the for our first spot. It will be. So these boys all now taking the pit stops. Well, at the minute, so I expect a few cars to all pile in, so wait for these boys to actually all make their mandatory pit stop of the night, and then we'll get a better understanding of where these boys are. But at the moment, it looks like Luke's really caught up with the back end of Bammer. Bammer, of course, our American driver from Pennsylvania, sitting in P1, lap 10. Good line out of Sheens, it must be said, by Bammer there, but Luke very quick coming up into Pilgrim's Drop to get the draft. Does look like the 488's got the legs on the Lambo, but not by much. Through Westfield, both of them very tidy through there. Luke very quick in this section of track for the Dingle Belt. Andy's struggling a little bit in this section of track. Just see how the camber goes off and the bumps come into play. So the field a little spread out at the minute. Luke, half a second down on his best, so definitely not on a charge at the minute, maybe struggling in the dirt, yeah. Of course, we're only on lap 10. Half a race this, well, quarter of the race distance done. Looks like Bruce is forever closer onto Scotty, but I want to keep on board with our first place fight. Looks like Bammer's coming into the pit. He is. Luke released. Bruce trying to catch Scotty, so Bammer into the pit. Leo P2. Where is Andy? Andy's going to take that position too, but Andy yet to pit. Where is Bruce on track? He's going to take that position too, so Bammer into the pit. Try and make a mental note of all the boys that are coming around at the minute. Leo, we'll have a look what 2 seconds looks like. Can you see Luke? Just about. Luke, of course, still needs to make a pit stop. Bruce, in the SLS Merc, not a popular choice, but yet going for it, so good driving on the back end of Scotty. Jasko looks like he's very close to Bammer. Come on, give me a bloody on board. Sorry about that, guys. So the camera wants it swaps there, not very good. Jasko with a much tighter line round there. Bammer goes defensive. Jasko's going to try and get the run on him. Andy's had a spin again. Andy having a nightmare. We're on lap 11 as predicted. Those tyres going off. Scotty way out the way. Does Bruce get it done? It's not Bruce, is it? Yes, it is Bruce. Bruce is a P3. Of course, all the boys making pit stops and whatnot. So Andy with a little spin because he can't keep it tidy around here. Of course, Bam last time. Jasko really on the arse end of Bammer now. Good line for the Hawthorne Ben. Jasko had to get out of it a little bit there. A little too far off to have a go into the Dingle Bell. Oh, Andy trying to way up Scotty. Gets a better drive out that corner. They'll be side by side nearly, I reckon. There we go. He's going to do him on the brakes into Clark Curve. The boys need to be aware of where they are on track. Keeping it clean. Good respect shown by these drivers. Still side by side coming up the Bramber Straight. This is going to be interesting coming up into Paddock. Will Scotty give it up? I think he does and tucks it behind Andy again. So Andy, P4, doing it for his nan. Not too far off P3. Jasko, really hassling the back end of Bammer. Bammer, doing a good job, you must be said. Not his favourite, but he's doing a good job there as our American driver. It's like Scotty's a little closer. He is indeed. Ooh, Andy sideways again, but manages to catch the car this time, but it's going to be Scotty with the momentum. Andy goes defensive into Sheens. Scotty just about keeps it out the side of Andy's car there. Andy again sideways. Andy needs to get that traction under control. Yeah, we've just had confirmation over the radio that Scotty really had to get on the brakes then, not to ram Andy, so Scotty losing out a little bit. Jasko still behind Bammer at the minute, so interesting to see our Bosnian-based driver struggling a little bit. Ooh, as we come up into Vilga's drop, is he going to have a look at him? He is. He's up the inside of Bammer, coming up to Hawthorns. Bammer sees him, delays the steering. Fantastic driving by these two boys. Jasko being released. P9, top 10. Scotty, it's like he may have got a little sideways through that. So Scotty with Disco behind him in the M6. He's got half a bumper hanging off there. Great sounding car. Then we've got our resident Czech driver from Olomouc, Dauphinio, behind them. He's on a tear at the minute. He'll be wanting to hunt down that M6, definitely. Looks like Bammer's having another go at Jasko, but maybe the concertina effect, judging by the lap timings there. Oh, I know. No, he really is on the back of him coming through Clark Curve. Up the Bammer Straight. We'll see who's quickest here. Bammer is in the draft, but Jasko's still pulling the gap, so he's not going to be able to get it done, unfortunately, into Paddock Hill. So we'll swap round onto Dauphinio, onto the brakes there. Looks like Dauphinio really... Looks like the car sort of snapped on him coming into Druids, and he's had to correct it a couple of times there. Disco very sideways through there. Dauphinio, a lot tidier line. Still not close enough to make any sort of jump on it. Bammer's sticking with Jasko. That's a surprising thing, and that's no disrespect to our American driver, but Jasko always at the sharp end of the grid. Last time around, though, Leo, the 124, seems to be the man on the charge at the minute. Luke, currently 1.5 seconds down, so he's had a bit of a... He's had a moment somewhere. Leo keeping Luke honest, it would seem. Take a look back. What's Andy, Disco, and Scotty up to? Scotty, P4. So, Scotty, Andy, Disco, Dauphinio, all very close to each other. Looks like Dauphinio's very racing in the background. Andy got a bit wide, so did Dauphinio. Side by side into Sheens. Can the M6 keep it on the black stuff? They do. Andy, with his arms out a little bit. Will he go defensive into the Clark Curve? Looks like he took a tight line through there. The M6 not having any luck through there. Had to Andy into the pit. Bit of a late one. That's going to release Dauphinio. Andy taking his mandatory pit stop. We'll have a check where he comes back out. Dauphinio onto the back end of these boys here. Bammer, what's he up to? Bammer with Richie in front of him. Not close enough to have a go. Dauphinio now. With that M6 in front. That M6 looks real tricky at the minute. We are half race distance done for our feature race, so halfway down the boys are giving it all she's got, Catton, as they come into Sheens, or Surtees, my bad. See what sort of line they get through there. The M6 looks good round there. but it does look tail happy as Scotty gets very sideways. I think Dafinio's going to have the run on him. He does. Disco didn't see Dafinio until it was too late, so couldn't cover the lines of Dafinio up the inside into Hawthorne's Bend. These boys need to give each other the room to race, otherwise, yep. Disco's going off. Yellow flag. Back onto the track. Yellow flag gone. That M6 going again. Oh, Dafinio through the dingle bell is pulled right up onto the back of Scotty. Dafinio needs to be a little bit careful here. He's very squiggly on the brakes. That M6 looks like it's losing a lot of grip now. On board with Dafinio. Shows him the inside. Tries to get Scotty to move over, but Scotty very defensive here. Scotty off into the pit, or is he just pulling on the line? Scotty into the pit. I could tell by the line that he was taking there that he was either defending the corner or he was about to shoot off into the pit. Richie with Bama up in front of him. Only a second between the boys. Massive shout out to Bama again with the time difference we've been across in the being in the US. Huge shout out for him to making the effort. What's Disco up to in that M6? He's Dafinio not having it his own way, side by side through the Druids. Oh, they both take each other out. We've got a yellow flag coming out of Druids. Where's Bama? What can he see? These boys cannot come back on track until the traffic is through. Yeah, you've had a tough one. We've had engineers on through the M6. He's been collected. Sideswipe, Disco having a tough one. Not all his own way at all at the minute, and it's definitely not him that's been making the mistakes either, so that's racing unfortunately at the minute, but he seems to be getting the sharp end of the stick, does our M6 driver there. Dafinio back on the pace. Let's go back on board with Luke. Lap 15. Seems to have pulled out a couple attempts to Leo, but Leo's still there in it. Somebody in the pit. That's Max into the pit in the yellow coloured Renault there. Dafinio back on the pace a little bit. Needs to be very careful coming around the back of Disco. If he does catch him, he needs to do it cleanly, as that M6 has got damage all over the place, and currently not a lot was actually to do with him. Fort pulling up on the back of Scotty. Scotty was sitting in P1 when the start of this race happened. Those tyres going off a little bit and back down the order, so these boys, as they were in race 1. Dafinio still catching up the M6 now. Now, we've got reports on the radio from the team mechanics of that M6 that they're not happy with the standard of driving that's going on the track, especially when it comes to being around this car. As I say that, he's out. Moved out the grid. Unfortunately, that's the end of the race for the M6 driver tonight. Dafinio has vacated. We've had reports that Disco had too much damage on the M6. Thank you very much for joining us, Disco. I'm sorry about how the race has gone for you, buddy. Better luck next time, bro. Back on board with our race leader, who's managed to pull out a big gap, actually. That was a second on that last lap to Leo. So, oh, as he goes very wide, Luke's gone sideways, out of Sterling's, but back on it. Oh, Luke's got crossed up. Luke's got crossed up. We've got a yellow flag into clearways. Luke is facing the wrong way. Has he reset? What is going on? There we go. It's reset. Where's Bruce? He's not going to be close enough to take advantage of it, but this is what I said, that in race 1, Leo into the pit. He's making his pit stop now. I expect Luke probably to make it as well. He does. So where's Bruce? Bruce coming around. He'll take provisional pole for the time being. I told this in race 1 that Luke had a lead at the front of the grid, but the lad loves to set qualifying laps. It's the racer in Luke that's the detriment to him at the minute. Flat out through Sterling's got the car. It looked like he saved it. And then it snapped back on him at clearways, kind of like what it did to Dafinio under braking into Druids. Anyway, Luke into the pit, back out now. Where is Dafinio? Are they going to be able to get Luke? Luke, oh, so close. Good job by Luke to keep it out the side of these boys. So Luke, P5, who has a bit of a problem coming through the Paddock Hill Bren there. So Jasko's going to pull up at the back of her. Uber lost it. I think we have a yellow flag through the Paddock Hill Bend. Come on, give me a bloody camera angle. Yep, Uber going again. Still within the top 10 spot. Luke now with Dafinio in his sights, but Dafinio, Jesus Christ, is he actually hassling the back end of Richie? Richie, a French driver, champion of the LMP2 class. Here he goes, Dafinio winding up through the Kilgren's drop. Round the outside it looks like, and it was not the first time that Duff's done that tonight. Good driving by Dafinio. P4, what's happening further back? Jasko, Luke, Rich, all within each other. We've got a 4-car train here, with that Renault just lagging behind a little bit. Nice selection of cars here. We have a look. We've got Rich in the SLS, so that's the AMG. Dafinio just in front in the Lambo. Luke in the 488. Jasko in the Lambo behind. So very much a sandwich. It looks like Luke's really caught up on the back of Richie there. Into clear Clark curve. Ooh, it looks like, is Richie off into the pit? No, he's not. The side by side. Bad camera angle. Fall into the pit. Richie thinks better of it and tucks back in behind Luke. Probably a lot better tactic to sit behind somebody that's got a 124 pace around this track. So Luke being released, as you hear in the background there, Dafinio's Lambo feathering the throttle, great sounding car. So Luke, P5, back up. We've got blue flags, P11, needs to move over, so we'll just keep on top of that. He does, he gets out the way of Andy, that's good to see. So next up there would have been Uber, but Uber a little further back, so Rich keeping Luke honest, he's not dropping him completely now. Luke P5, Dafinio P4. Dafinio and Bama are actually within striking distance of each other. There's only a few seconds in that. We'll keep an eye on that one there. I suspect Bruce still needs to pit, but he's got a fair few laps to do that in. See what he's like as he's coming up into Clark Curve. Using every little bit of available track. Great line by Bruce, who's currently sitting P1. Where's Leo? What's he up to? Leo coming up also into the same bit of track here. Good line by him through there. Leo's taking his mandatory pit stop. Then we have Bama behind him, Dafinio behind him, and you can hear that 488 in the background. Luke using a lot more of the track. Good line though, still managing to keep the momentum going. Our cars are spread out a little bit at the minute. Still, we've got racing going on. Bruce with a healthy 10-second gap back to Leo's, only just coming out of Druids now. Bama also following, Dafinio into the, also the same bit of track. Uber into the pit. Scotty on track. Scotty's going to take the position. Looks like Max might do as well. That's the 10-second stop. So Dafinio with hunting down Bama for the last podium spots of the night. I believe we have 10 laps to go for Dafinio, Luke, Richie, guys like that to try and get a podium spot. Uber still into the pit. Nope, going again. Out of the pit now. Where's Max? He's not going to be bothered about that. He's not close enough. Looks like Luke's maybe had a bit of an off there. He's not close enough to... Oh, he is within a second, so my bad. He is actually, that was the concertina effect. I thought he may have had an accident. Fort into the pit. Good to see Fort still going, still trying to put some experience and some times in there. Luke currently 10th down on his best, but still in a good commanding spot. Bruce into the pit, so where is Leo on track? Let's go, chase cam. So it's going to be Leo through, because Bruce is not in his grid spot yet. Where's Bama? Just see there, so Leo P1. Just going again. Bama through. Dafinio through. How many more spots is the guy going to lose? Bruce still in the pit. Whereabouts is he? No. Still in the pit. It's just a bit bad, that angle. He's just out, so he's going to hold P7. We've got a battle on here. Bama wide. Dafinio through. Bama's going to tuck up behind the back of these. We've got our man from Birmingham behind these guys too. So we've got a real battle on for the last podium spots of the night. With 10 laps to go, you can't make this stuff up. That is P2, 3 and 4, all within a second of each other. Now, if these boys make any contact with each other or make a mistake, they have the likes of Richie, Jasko and Bruce all behind them. Looks like Andy's catching the back end of that, but we'll keep on board with the front running race at the minute. Bama in a Luke and Dafinio sandwich. Luke, oh, Bama loses it. We've got a yellow flag in the Hawthorne bend. Yellow flag in the Hawthorne bend. Bama, you need to be careful, buddy. We're joining the track. Can't take them with us. So Dafinio and Luke. Bit of breathing space. Richie just suiting up. Jasko, P5. Whoa, Andy looks very close to the back end of Bruce. He does indeed. He's not going to be close enough to have a go into Sheens though, I'm afraid. But he's got a lot better line through there, so maybe he might have a go into Sterling's. Yeah, a bit too far back again. Let's have a look what Jasko's up to. Bama really losing out there. Currently sitting in like P2, P3. Made it a little bit of an accident. Jasko into the pit. Jasko into the pit. Andy, meanwhile, on the back end of Bruce. We'll go on board with Andy, our man from Watford. Up the Bremen straight. He's showing Bruce the inside there. Bruce doesn't react. Sticks to his line. Good line by both of them into the paddock hills. It's great to watch these boys flat out into there. Just see how much speed the guys can carry. 21 laps down, Leo P1. Driving by all our lads here tonight. I would like to say, well, we've got the eyes and ears that we have a Discord group. All the leagues are free to join on the PS4 platform. We have some great staff and members, and even the community in general is absolutely amazing. It's free to join. Everybody's welcome to come and check it out. Get involved in our racing throughout the week. Plenty of leagues, plenty of stuff to do. Big shout out to the staff and team who make the wheels go around. Great job by them. Massive shout out to Luke Bennett, who won the Clio Esports the other day. Also on this very same track, actually. So massive congrats to him. Massive hello to Andy's Nana as well. Massive shout out to Uni Clark, who did miss this one. It was due to start along with Camber, but life happens, and we understand that here at Rubbins Racing. So hopefully we get you back next week, boys. Andy's still chasing Bruce down. Looks like Luke's within 2 seconds of Definio now. And that gap's dropped considerably. I think it was more the concertina effect through the paddock hill. It was. So back to Bruce and Andy. Ooh, Bammer there, who did make a mistake while he was up in those podium spots. Andy tries to go up. He's going to have a go. He is. Bruce did go defensive, so Bruce very fair there. Knew that Andy were there. Is he going to try and hold the inside? Andy snaps back. Andy does a mint job there of keeping that car from smashing into the side of Bruce. He lost the car, it snapped on him. He kept it out the side of that Merc. Fair play to our man from Watford. So Bruce getting up on the back end of Bammer. Let's have go on board. On board with Bruce. Chasing down Bammer. Looks like that SLF is quick. Through the Pilgrim's drop here. Is he going to have a look? Thinks better of it. A little earlier onto the brake there. Squeezing it round. Experienced heads here by our guys sitting currently in P5 and 6. It's great to see that the lads, you know, as much as they want to race and make improvements on themselves and get the best position possible, they're all wise enough to know that having a move there may end up in an accident. And these boys don't want to drop points like they have in other rounds. Andy doing a good job holding on to the back end of these now. Looks like Jasko may have had a bit of a slowdown or an off. On board with our race leader Leo. He's currently got 2 to 3 seconds on our chip driver. Great sounding Lamborghini once they get on and off the throttle there. So Leo P1, Definio with half a Lambo in P2, doing all sorts of wonders for his aerodynamic capabilities, but it's not slowing him down none. Luke, man from Birmingham, P3. Richie, P5. Bammer, P5, but for how long, I don't know. He's got Bruce breathing down his neck. And if these boys make any sort of mistakes, our man from Watford is ready to pick up the pieces. Massive shout out to the guy in the background there, one of the marshalling team's mod members at Rubbins Racing. Doing a fantastic job. Also, Definio on track, Ubar on track. Also, staff at Rubbins Racing, marshalling the lobby as we go around. Again, join the Rubbins Racing Discord. Plenty of racing throughout the week. You're all welcome. Great community of people. Also visit the website. Subscribe and like the video. It helps us absolutely loads on YouTube. I would like to also shout out that we're past 50 subscribers for a channel that's only a few weeks old. Fantastic job there. Massive shout out to the console for the art and graphics too. Back with the racing now. Leo, maybe losing a bit of time. Also, I would like to shout out Murph and the console for the job they're doing with the artwork on the YouTube channel. Fantastic job by all the boys and staff at Rubbins Racing. Back to the racing, Leo P1. It looks like Luke's pulling maybe up on Definio a little bit. Definio maybe struggling with the back end of the car as we're hitting the latter stages of this race. Only 6 laps to go. What's Bruce and Andy up to? Andy within a second of Bruce from Druids. Andy's struggling with the back end of the car a little bit, but Bruce even closer to Bammer now. Good line. Fantastically done. Luke's a second behind Definio now. We'll keep on board with that. It's Luke. Just a concertina effect, I'm afraid. Through the Pilgrim's drop. Looks like Bruce got a hell of a line through there, and he's got a draft, so on board with him. Westfield, into Westfield, thinks better of it there. He's a lot faster than Bammer into Westfield, and it looks like for the Dingle Bell, so maybe something to keep in mind there. But next time around, might want to make a move with that one. I apologise for the camera angle. Andy's still hanging on in the background. Luke winding up and going. He's definitely closer to our Czech driver from Olomouc there. Currently, half a second down on his best, but probably a lot to do with the downforce of that Lambo in front. Hang on a minute, Bruce and Andy so close to each other. Looks like Bruce may have lost a little bit of momentum to Bammer, but still there or thereabouts. Fantastic driving. Lap 25. Luke sideways. That 488 screaming, taking some abuse. Luke, of course, little accident coming down clearways, a really weird one with the car snapping on him. Wasn't able to catch it. Well, he caught it the first time. Second time, caught him out a little bit. Bruce and Andy within 8 tenths of each other. No, I beg your pardon. Bammer and Bruce. Still holding on in there. Has Leo made a mistake? Because that gap has dropped and it's back up to 2 seconds. Okay. Oh, side by side. Bruce and Bammer. Bammer sees him. I'm sure he does with the line that he took there, so Bammer's gone defensive again. Bruce knows that he's fast in this section of track compared to the Lambo in front, so maybe Bruce is trying to push that Lambo into making a mistake. He does. As I said that, he's gone sideways. Where is Scotty on track? He's going to take advantage. We have a yellow flag for the Dingle Bell section. Please be careful. Please be careful. Luke within a second again of Definio. Yes, that is a lot closer. So we've got a battle on for P1, 2 and 3. Our podium spots of the night. 4 laps to go. Into Druids. It just goes as a testament to how this GT3 League race is raced by our drivers on track, that we could have this close a racing and still, with a couple of laps to go, all to play for. You can physically see the gaps. Luke a little far off there to have a go in. Andy struggled with Druids in the sprint race, but seems to have got that under control. Currently chasing down Bruce, and Bruce seems to have lost sight a little bit. That's Richie in front, so them two fighting over P5. Luke still chasing down Definio. You've got to hold your hat off to Definio. He's doing a cracking job, but Luke definitely catching him. Through the Dingle Bell. Up into Sheens. Luke pretty quick in this section. Good line by Definio there, using a lot of the track. Into Sterling's. Luke had problems here before. Ooh, Definio had to save the car there. It snapped on him. Coming up into Clark Curve. There is not much in it now between these guys. Luke needs to be aware of his downforce though. It can catch you out when you're following a car this closely. Let's have a look at the battle on track. There is nothing in it. 2 tenths of a second. This is going to be interesting. Cockpit view of him now, coming through the Paddock Hill Bend. Probably one of the most famous corners in motorsport. Up into Druids. Definio goes defensive. We've got a race on, ladies and gentlemen. All the while, what this will do is help Leo pull out a little bit of a gap. Leo rubbing his hands here. This is exactly what he wanted. Luke, if he's going to make a move, needs to make it quickly. A little wide there. Andy and Bruce still in close proximity together, but I want to keep on board with our fighting here at the podium spots. Look how close these guys are. P1, 2, 3, 1 second between them. Looks like Andy's got a lot closer to the back end of Bruce. We'll stick with Luke through the Pilgrim's Drop. Thinks better of it into the Hawthorne Bend. Definio definitely struggling with the back end of that car. It is not as consistent as it has been. So Luke pushing that Lamborghini Huracan as far as he can. Definio comes offline a little bit, goes defensive, making sure that Luke can't swing it up the inside. Definio very corner cutty there, managing to keep a wheel off just. Looks like Andy's gone wide. We've got a yellow flag coming through Hawthorns. Yellow flag coming through Hawthorns. Where's Bammer on track? Not close enough to make any difference. Back with our leaders. Luke to Clark Curve. Look at this. Definio goes defensive. Luke's going to have to go around the outside. Through the Bammer straight. Paddock Hill. Wow. Luke tries round the outside of Definio. Definio pulls back in. Definio definitely struggling with the back end of that car. So with 2 laps to go, Definio probably wants to try and keep hold of that podium spot, and one of the quickest ways to do that will ensure it. He's got a good 10-second gap back to P4, so he technically could make a mistake, but won't want to. So we'll see if our Czech driver from Paramount settles with a podium spot. All the while, it looks like Scotty's trying to chase down Bammer. Jasko, yeah, bit of a lonely one for him. He's usually at the sharp end of the grid. He's currently in a top 10 position, will score some good points. Leo holding P1, but how long for? We've got 2 laps of this race left. Can Luke catch Leo, or will Leo maintain the position? Looks like Jasko is closer to the back end of Scotty. Not close enough to make a move though. Leo doing a great job here. That Brazilian driver driving out of France. Last time out, qualified 4th, finished 7th. So driver profile states that he wants an improvement, and by God has he got it in the feature race. Doing a hell of a job. Also, big shout out to Fort, our Italian driver from Tris, sticking with it and going around. It's good to see. Looks like Jasko's very close to the back end of Scotty. We'll keep an eye on the timing boards of that. A bit too far back to have a go into Westfield though. Bruce, pretty close to the back end of Richard now. Luke, coming up into Druid, so the concertina effect, not much in it. Dropping Dafinio. Dafinio does look like he's settled for his 3rd place, which is no mean feat with the class of the field here. So Luke with it all to do. Keep an eye on that battle. Where's Bruce? Bruce chasing down Richie. AMG versus SLS. Interesting car choice by Bruce there. Definitely Richie with the choice of car. Very sideways through that bit of track. Luke within a second of Leo now. Less than that. Concertina effect playing up was there. Jasko, Scotty battling out. I think they were side by side for a second. Good work with the concertina effect. So Jasko through P8, improving. All the while, Bruce is pulled right up onto the back of Richie. Will he ever go through the Pilgrim's drop into Hawthorne fence? Thinks better of it. Meanwhile, Luke's really pulled up on the back end of Leo. There's only half a second in it. Fort needs to move out of the way. Blue flag Fort. Blue flag Fort. Great driving by Fort there, our Italian driver. Comes out the way of the race leaders. Fort needs to be aware that Dafinio in 3rd place is going to catch on to the back of him. But for the time being, this is it. I believe it's a 31 lap race because of the warm-up lap. So lap 30 on board with Luke Bennett, our pro esports driver. Leo goes very wide, scrubs a lot of speed. Leo goes defensive. Come on. Into Druid. Leo with a little later line into that, takes it a bit tighter, so Leo's going to keep the line. Doesn't go defensive there into that corner. That's interesting to know. Maybe something that Luke's going to note down, but Luke really on the back end of him now, side by side, coming into 30s. It must be P1 for Luke. At the minute it does, but that Lamborghini Huracan staying in there, still side by side. They've got to give each other the room to race, these boys. Giving each other the room to race, coming up the Pilgrim's drop, still side by side. Looks like Luke's just edged it. Yes, Leo behind him now into the draft. So Leo with 1 lap to go with Luke. The Birmingham man coming straight through. Hopefully Leo doesn't lose anything with the downforce. The boys been running in P1 for the majority of the race. Not had to contend with dirt. Yeah, Luke did make a mistake in the last one, so this race not over yet. Very close on track. Rich and Bruce so close to one another. Side by side through Hawthorns. Bruce tucks back. It's Rich that tucks back in, so Bruce got the position done. Rich through. Rich still on the back end of him. What's happening with Bammer and Scotty? They're very close to one another. Back on board with Rich. I think Jasko spun again there. I'm not quite sure. I think he did. Yes, he's going back through that. Dafinio into the pit. So Dafinio's going to lose some spot. Where's Bruce? 10 seconds behind. It's going to be tight between these boys, you know. Dafinio. Well, that's not a great camera angle. So Dafinio into the pit. Where's Bruce? Just coming through Clark Curve now. Has Dafinio got going again? Only just. He's going to lose out to Bruce. And it looks like Richie in the background. Where's Andy? Can Andy capitalise on it? He's coming through now. This is going to be close between these two. Andy just about getting it done. P5. So Dafinio comes out in P7 there. They're so close, these boys. What's happening with Luke? Luke's dropped. Luke's steering wheel's gone. Luke's steering wheel's gone. We've got a yellow flag with Luke Bennett. That's such a shame to see. He was all sorts of fast in that race, setting 124 lap times. What's happening? Luke's going to be out of this one. So Leo will inherit P1. Such a shame to see from our pro esports driver. Last time out as well, I believe he ran out of fuel towards the end of the race, so Luke having a bit of a nightmare at the minute. Richie forever closer. But where is Leo on track for the last time coming through Sterling's, I believe? Such a shame with our Pro Esports driver there, but that is racing. It happens. Through clearways, Luke's packed up. So Leo through. Leo takes P1. Is going to come across the line. I'm almost sure this is the last lap. It is. Leo with the flash of the lights. Hell of a drive there from our Brazilian driver. What a drive. Bruce in the SLS. Wow. As we see Fort coming out the way of the guys. Good driving by Fort. So Bruce, last time round Clark Curve, done a hell of a job in that SLS, mate. Done an absolute hell of a job. You should be proud of that result. You really should. Richie in close proximity. Good driving by both the lads there. Where's Andy on track? Just about coming through. Coming P4. His Nan's going to be proud with that one. Defidio in the background. Flashing the headlights. Great driving by our Trek driver from Olomouc. Giving us a hell of a show. It looks like Scotty and Bam are really close together on track. But judging by that gap, Bam's going to have P6 unless he makes a mistake into Clark Curve. Sticking on board with our American driver. Representing the Team America tonight, Kembo not able to join us, so Bama representing America. P6 for Bama, good driving. Scotty, P7, better performance race 1, struggled with the setup. Jasko, wow, P8, wasn't expecting that. A bit of a nightmare for Jasko, a few little mistakes here and there, but good to see him sticking with it. Ubal for the last time of the night, coming through clearways. One of the mods here at Rubbins Racing, sticking with it in that AMG, always doing well. Top 10 position by Uber, our Dutch driver from Dreef, comes across the line, P9. Where is Max? That's the race. Thank you so much for everyone joining on YouTube of this round of Brands Hatch Rubbins Racing GP. I'd like to thank everybody joining us, everybody that stuck with it. Big shout out to Leo, Bruce and Richie for the podium spot. Andy just missing out at the end there. Massive shout out to Luke that did have problems during the race, but I want to shout him out one more time for his Clio Esports win. Hell of a job. Also, join the join the channel, my bad, all over the place. Massive shout out to Uni Clark and Kembo, who are meant to be here tonight. Massive shout out to Andy's Nana. Come join the Discord. Please like and subscribe the video. From everybody here at Rubbin the Racing, a lot of love, and we'll catch you on the next one. From all of us here at Rubbins Racing, peace.